Week in, week out, the name Erling Haaland is on the news. And that's because he simply cannot stop himself from scoring. He came off the bench in the Premier League game against Fulham over the weekend and netted his 18th goal of the Premier League season on his return to the squad after having been sidelined for a couple of weeks due to injury. And it was a very important goal too. It was a 95th minute winner which guaranteed a 10-Man City 3 points over tough Fulham and made sure Manchester City still had Arsenal within their sights in the race for the title. But we're not here to talk about Haaland's heroics, not today at least. We want to take a look at his future at Manchester City under his new coach Pep Guardiola. Pep is one of the greatest managers of his generation, and as such, he is loved by many fans, journalists and players, retired and still active. But not every player that has played under him thinks so highly of him. Some players he has worked with actually cannot stand him. And one of them has come out to sound a strong warning to Erling Haaland concerning his future under the Spanish gaffer. Guardiola has worked with many superstar strikers and goal scorers since he started coaching professionally in 2008. He has worked with Samuel Eto'o, Thierry Henry, David Villa, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Sergio Aguero, Robert Lewandowski, and you can even add Lionel Messi to that list because Pep applied him as a false nine quite a number of times. These are some of the finest strikers and goal scorers of the outgoing generation, and they all enjoyed huge success under Pep Guardiola, but not all of them got along well with the Manchester City manager. Two names that quickly come to mind are Samuel Eto'o and Zlatan Ibrahimovic, both of whom played under the current Manchester City gaffer at Barcelona between 2008 and 2010. Eto'o was part of that historic squad which completed the sextuple in Guardiola's first season as a professional coach, the 2008-2009 season. But the Cameroonian left the club after that despite having scored 30 goals in the league that season and provided 44 goal contributions in 52 appearances in all competitions. The reason he left was simple. He and the new gaffer never saw eye to eye. Eto'o once said in an interview that his experience with Pep wasn't what he'd hoped for on a personal level, and he mentioned that many players have said exactly that about the Champions League winning coach. But things weren't any better for Eto'o's replacement, Zlatan Ibrahimovic. The Swede was exchanged for Eto'o in 2009, and there was huge anticipation surrounding his move to a dominant Barcelona team. Zlatan was 28 and was one of the hottest properties in Europe at the time. Everyone expected that the robot-like martial artist of a striker would score for fun in a Barcelona team which created chances for fun and were being led by a very attacking coach. But that didn't happen. Zlatan scored just 22 goals in 46 appearances in Barcelona and was immediately loaned out at the end of his first season at the club. The Swede believes he could have done a lot better at Barcelona and blames his subpar and brief career in Spain on Pep Guardiola. Ibrahimovic blamed his lack of improvement in Barcelona on Pep's ego, cowardice, and the desperation of the coach to please his star player, Lionel Messi, who, according to him, wanted to play in the centre-forward position, leading to Zlatan being sacrificed. These experiences with Pep have led Zlatan to sound a note of warning to a young player who looks up to him and is currently playing under Pep. Erling Haaland has never hidden the fact that he idolizes Zlatan and has always loved the Swede since he was a little boy. So, it is actually not out of place for the 41-year-old to lend some advice to a lad that is just about half his age. Of course, Zlatan first started out by saying how much he loves Haaland. I mean, he's basically your clone. Why won't you love him? And Zlatan didn't just give generic reasons for loving the Norwegian. He particularly said that he loves the Manchester City striker because he doesn't bother to join the build-up. He just stays in the box and gets his goals, like him, a predator. But what immediately followed that compliment was a firm warning. He told Erling Haaland to be careful of his current manager. Already fans and pundits all around the world are saying that moving to City to play under Pep Guardiola at 22 was the best decision of Haaland's career. And you can understand why they said that, with the young striker already enjoying unprecedented success in front of goal in just a matter of months since signing. Many are already sending messages to Haaland to make Manchester City his home for a long time, but amidst all of that, Zlatan Ibrahimovic recognizes that it is still early days and warns the former Dortmund man to beware and be careful of one thing: Pep Guardiola's ego. Like we said earlier, one of the things Zlatan blames for his short career at Barcelona is Guardiola's ego. There were disagreements between the pair and, according to Zlatan, Pep wasn't very willing to work things out because of his ego. Instead, he decided to offload him. So, he has made sure to warn this striker who plays like him and looks up to him to be careful of that ego of Pep's. Talking about the possibility of Haaland improving and becoming better than he already is at Manchester City, here's what Zlatan Ibrahimovic said. It depends on Guardiola's ego. Whether he lets him become bigger than he is or not, why didn't he allow me to improve? Because it didn't just happen to me, but to many others. That was a huge statement, maybe not very surprising coming from Zlatan, who is known to be a very outspoken figure, but huge nonetheless. And it would appear that Zlatan's fear for Haaland doesn't just stem from his own experience, because like he mentioned, it happened to other players too. Names like Eto'o and Yaya Toure quickly come to mind, and maybe even Ronaldinho and Deco. No doubt that's a huge statement, and when a statement that big is made by a player that big, you're sure that it will reach the ears of the subject of discussion in no time, and it sure has. Pep has even replied to those comments, but he refrained from giving the comments a serious reply. He sarcastically said that Zlatan is right and his ego is indeed the biggest in Manchester City. If you doubt that that was sarcasm, listen to the statement he made right after that. He said, "I don't like it when Erling scores 3 goals and all the highlights are for him. I'm so jealous, honestly so jealous. I say, Erling, please no more goals, otherwise the newspapers won't talk about me and just about me. He, Zlatan, is right. He knows me perfectly. He can write another book." Good old Pep Guardiola, right? But do you think Haaland really has something to be scared of? Do you think Zlatan's advice is something he should really take to heart? I mean, so far, the relationship between Pep and Haaland has looked very rosy. Apart from the Norwegians' good form, we have noticed hugs, smiles, embraces, and celebrations between the player and the coach since they started working together in the summer, most recently after the striker's late winner against Fulham. So, it seems like all is well over there. And while there have been players who Pep didn't get along with at his different clubs, there have also been players with whom he has had great relationships, and those relationships yielded and are still yielded massive success. Sergio Aguero, Robert Lewandowski, Xavi Hernandez, Andres Iniesta, and of course, Lionel Messi are just a few out of a really long list of superstar players that remember Pep Guardiola fondly. And honestly, they seem to be in the majority. So, while there is a possibility that things could still go south between Haaland and Guardiola, there appears to be a higher possibility that things will continue to be great, and Haaland will end up scoring a truckload of goals like a certain 5'7" Argentinian who played under Pep Guardiola between 2008 and 2012. But we would really like to hear what you think on this matter. Do you think Haaland needs to be on the alert like Zlatan warns, or do you think there's absolutely no reason for the Norwegian goal machine to start looking over his shoulder now, especially with the start to life with Pep he has had? Get in the comments and share your thoughts with us.